Hello everyone. Small things in life may leave deep impact at times. The poem that we'll read today is written by John Berryman, and in this poem he talks about a very small and normal incident of a ball which is lost by a young child. This losing of the ball gives him an important lesson of life, and he learns to deal with the struggles of life. I, Kapila, am going to read this lesson of life that has been taught to us by John Berryman. Before we read the poem, have a look at the glossary. This will help you understand the poem better. Let's begin with the poem. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him a dime. Another ball is worthless. Now he senses his first responsibility. In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always. Little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. So, if we divide this poem into two parts, we find that in the first part, John Berryman has described the sorrow that is suffered by the boy. He tells us here that what is the boy doing now once he has lost his ball? He saw the ball that was bouncing, and very happily it was bouncing. The ball was bouncing very happily, merrily it was bouncing, and it was moving towards the harbor, and it fell into the deep ocean there. And the boy, he was left grief-stricken. He was trembling, he was rigid, he was shivering because he had lost his ball. And at that time, when the author wanted to explain to him that the ball could be bought with another dime. Dime is a small amount of money. With that amount of money, another ball could be bought. He really understood that he would not be able to understand, he would not be able to take away the grief and the pain through which the boy was going. The boy would not understand that. He would be grieved even if he would explain. And that is the reason why the poet thought of not intruding into his private space. He really wanted him to weep and give away the burden that was there of the grief and pain on his heart and mind after losing the ball. So here the whole grief has been explained, that how grieved he was once he lost. It's just a simple incident of the losing of ball by a young boy over here. Okay, and why is he so much grieved? He's so much grieved because he thinks that all the memories and all the pleasant, associations with that ball, they have now gone. So the ball here is also the prized possessions and the loved ones that you have in life. Once you lose them, you are grief-stricken and you are in utter pain and distress, and nobody is able to bring you out of that pain and distress once you lose them, the prized possessions and the loved ones. And you have to bear that pain. It is the lesson of life. You have to learn it, that the balls will be lost. Similarly, the people and the prized possessions that you have in your life, they also will be lost one day. You have to lose them and you have to continue with the life. So the second part of the poem here that tells us to understand the epistemology of loss. That is the knowledge of how to cope up with loss, that you need to understand. So once he loses the ball, once you lose something that is very prized to you, something that is very precious to you, then what happens is that you are grief stricken, you are crying and weeping, but still you understand the responsibility. You take your responsibility of living the life and moving ahead. So you have to understand that you have to bear this pain, and you have to understand this also, that balls will be taken by people. It's a world of possessions. Everybody wants to have the ownership of one or the other thing. People would like to have what you have, so they would like to grab things from you. So it's a world of possessions where everybody is having one or the other kind of thing, the ownership they are having, and people will be snatching away things from you. But what you need to do is, you can't just end your life over there. You have to learn the lesson of life. That is, you have to learn the epistemology of loss. You have to fight against it. You have to stand again, and you have to live the life. This is the lesson which he is wanting us to learn. And he's also telling us over here that once you lose something which is very prized, which is very precious to you, then nobody is going to bring back that ball to you. That ball is the prized possession or the loved thing that you have. Nobody is going to bring it back to you, and money is only external. The memories, the love, the bonding that you shared with that person or with that thing, that cannot be bought with money. That is why the poet calls the money external over here. The pain and the grief you have to bear, and bearing that, you have to understand that you cannot end your life there. You have to stand up again, and you have to live the life that is there. So this is the epistemology of loss, the knowledge that one gains after you lose something precious in your life. You have to learn to stand up. This is what he says, knowing what every one man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. That is the most important thing. So the whole poem gives us a very knowledgeable and a very wise lesson which each one of us must learn to live the life. Now let us do the exercise. Question 1. Why does the poet say, I would not intrude on him? Why doesn't he offer him money to buy another ball? The poet said that he would not intrude on him because he knew that at that moment he was so much grief stricken that he would not understand that once that ball is lost, he has to learn the lesson of life. He has to stand up again and move on. He has to be given time to bear the pain. And with that pain, you have to live. So for that, you have to give time. And even if he would have told the boy that he could buy another ball with that money, the boy could not be satisfied. He knew the reality, because at that time, the pain and the loss was fresh. And he really wanted that space should be given so that he could weep and he could have the recollections of the sweet memories that he had had with the ball. Question 2. Staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Do you think the boy has had the ball for a long time? Yes, I think the boy has had the ball for a very long time, because all his childhood, he has the recollections of the memories, and he thinks they are all gone into the harbor along with the ball. Is it linked to the memories of the days when he played with it? Yes, it is linked to the memories of the days that are linked with the ball. Question 3. What does in the world of possessions mean? This is a world of possessions. Everybody wants to have the ownership of so many things. People would like to have all the materialistic things. Along with that, they would like to have power, position, etc. So it's a world of possessions where people would be grabbing each other's thing. They are just running after grabbing. That is what is meant by world of possessions. Question 4. Do you think the boy has lost anything earlier? The boy has not lost anything earlier. Had he lost something earlier, he would have not undergone so much pain. He would have not been. There are phrases like trembling, shivering, etc. that have been used that clearly tell us that he had not lost anything earlier. Question 5. What does the poet say the boy is learning from the loss of the ball? Try to explain this in your own words. By the loss of the ball, the boy is trying to learn the lesson of life. That is the epistemology of loss. He is getting the knowledge of how to cope up with the pain and the distress that one feels when one loses the things which are really important and precious to him. He learns how to stand up again and live the life. So if you have some other explanation, you can write that explanation also here in your own words. Question 6. Have you ever lost something you liked very much? Write a paragraph describing how you felt then and saying whether and how you got over your loss. So this is your homework. You'll write a paragraph on something which you've lost and how you felt about it. This was an intense poem giving us the lesson of life. We shall meet with some other intense lessons of life. Till then, take care.